Good evening and welcome to Chapter 4. Now, I know I spent a little more time on Chapter 3, but this one I want to make a little shorter. This chapter is about dress and etiquette, and while this is very important and I could spend a lot of time talking about this, I really want you to read through your book and pick up some of the things in the lecture or in the chapter for reading. Now, really honestly, when it comes to dress and etiquette, I want to ask you, how many chances do you get to make a first impression? And obviously the answer is one. And that's why this chapter is, in my mind, the second most important chapter, because before we start actually working on how you present yourself and going out and looking for a job and all that stuff, you have to realize how you affect other people and how you carry yourself and how you dress. Now, the book talks a lot of things about a lot of things, such as how you dress, how employers may see you. It asks about tattoos and piercings. Now I'm going to tell you I'm pretty okay with everything type person, but I will tell you that when you do go into a job and potentially an interview or to turn in a resume or an application, you really don't know who you're going to face and you don't know how they think about things. So the fact is that is it legal for people to judge you? Absolutely. So if you have tattoos, if you have earrings, those things could affect you. Same thing with how you dress. I always tell people dress nice no matter what. I mean, unless you're in the welding profession and they're expecting you to do a weld right there, so you have to wear jeans and a t-shirt, you should dress in nice clothing. Whether it's construction, whether it's picking up poop at the fair, I really don't care. You want to impress those people and show them that you can be professional and that you want that job and you respect them. So when it comes to this chapter, I want you to think about those things. When it comes to etiquette, I think it's kind of funny how your book spends about 2 pages on dining etiquette, and it even shows you all of the items that you can have when you go to a fancy restaurant or a fancy dinner. How many of you guys knew there could be up to 16 things in front of you as you're preparing to eat and eating that night? So read through this because it'll help you a lot. Also understanding how you behave at business functions like company meals and dinner with coworkers and clients and all this other stuff. How do you handle yourself? When there's a buffet, do you run up to the front and grab everything you can, or do you make yourself a little farther back in line? I always say never be the first. That includes when you're being served at the table. Try not to dive into your food first. Try not to be the first one to grab bread. If all else fails, if you're starving that bad, reach over, grab the bread, offer the person next to you some bread, grab a piece yourself, then hand it over to the person to your other side. That allows you to get bread right away and make it look like you're being a respectful gentleman, gentlewoman, whatever you want to say, and helping your coworkers or your fellow professionals out. Hopefully this makes sense a little bit. Is it okay to drink alcohol at a business function? Your chapter covers that too. Now the book will say likely not. I always say pay attention to your employer, what's going on there, and a lot of other factors. Can you handle alcohol? How much can you drink? Do you have a ride home? Are other people drinking? And believe it or not, sometimes even if other people are drinking, it may not be the best idea. I've seen an employer write up a half a dozen people one time at a meal for ordering alcohol at lunchtime. So that's another factor. Do you have to return back to work that day? So when it comes to etiquette, know how your behavior could potentially affect your employer, how they're going to see you when it comes to you showing up to work the next week. Okay, so first impressions is the only impression you get, and people can judge. I remember, for instance, like I really don't judge tattoos, but I know when I took my family out for pizza one night, I walked up to the counter and I'm standing there for 2 minutes waiting, and this girl walks up and goes, "Yeah, what do you want?" And as I'm thinking about my order, all of a sudden I look and she had the words "F you" tattooed across her chest, and she was wearing a low-cut shirt. Now, if I was an employer, I wouldn't necessarily judge the person, but that comment, do I really want somebody telling my customers "F you" every time they try to talk? The things that you do, the ways that you present yourself are very important. A lot of employers, I have students say, well, if I'm in the police or the military or other things like that, they allow tattoos. Well, believe it or not, sometimes when they're interviewing, they still will bounce you out. A lot of people get tattoos after they become employed, or they cover them up while they're working, etc. So think about those things. Extra piercings, you may want to take a few out or a couple out while you're interviewing or looking for a job. Um, like I said, I personally don't judge that much, but some employers out there do. And I don't care what kind of job it is, you may sometimes run into a person out there that still is very conservative and wants a professional look and a professional attitude. So read through this chapter very carefully and make a discussion, make a statement about what you've learned or maybe something you've heard in this video. Thank you.